Headlines, trends, weather and travel getaways. It's Wake Up World on SEM TV.
Welcome back from that short break. This still is the Morning Pulse here on SEM TV. I am Emmanuel Tamanor Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. This is me bringing you the online trends. There's a lot trending, but of course today being the International Day of Families, we need to talk about the issue of keeping a family, starting a family, and of course the breaking apart of families in Nigeria and the world as a whole. If you've not been living under a rock and you've been on social media, you know as of right now, three names, or rather two names, are trending on all platforms of social media. Frank Edoho and Chike. Once I've mentioned those two names, you already have an idea of what exactly is going on. But if you are new to the subject, just to give you a brief summary, a rundown, is the fact that, would I say, Frank Edoho's ex-wife had, let me not say an illicit affair, but they had conjugal knowledge of each other with Chike. So a lot of people are talking about it. Frank Edoho came out to talk about it. And there's a lot to address as of right now. Earlier in the morning, we talked about how keeping a family is kind of difficult, both due to the toxicity of both the male and female genders. We've talked about single fathers, single mothers. We've talked about things to do, things not to do, things to avoid, and things to learn from. I would now want to ask, because it's a very important question, but the way things are going in our generation, every famous person is either getting cheated on or being divorced or having one relationship problem or the other. What are we doing? I mean, I know we also had problems in the days of our fathers, but you would notice that marriages were a bit more stable. Could it have been because of a lack of knowledge, as some people would say? Is it because perhaps the women were truly oppressed and they did not know their rights, hence why, they were not able to speak up? Or could it have been that things were just as beautiful and as, sunshine and rainbowy, allow me to say, as our parents would put it? What exactly is going on within our families? Now, I would want to come to Francis. In your opinion, why do you think it seems as though people are becoming afraid of commitment and marriage? Because if you go on social media, you'd see that most people, despite the fact that in Africa and Nigeria, traditionally, the issue of marriage is something that we do not take for granted. Once you get to a certain age, even as a lady, I'm sure Vivera, I'm sure even you can speak to that, that from the age of 19, 20, your parents have started, slowly bringing in the talk of marriage, in as much as in your secondary school, they would have told you stay away from boys, this one, that one, and then as you immediately you leave university, they may start doing you small. So how far now? Have you seen anybody you like? Marriage talks and all of that. We do not take marriage for granted. In fact, it's seen as a sign of stability, it's seen as a life goal, and it's seen as an accomplishment. So what exactly is going on? Why do you think these days our youths are becoming afraid of commitment and getting married?
Well, first off, the society we live in, the present generation, the Gen Zs and the
And the Gen Alphas, yeah.
millennials, you know, they have, let me rephrase it, let me say, morality
Okay.
has been seriously eroded. There is no sense of morality in today's generation. There is no sense of decency for a majority of today's generation. There is no sense of responsibility
Okay.
for majority of today's generation. Rather, what you see are what we call, the learned mindset, the woke mindset, the exposed mindset, the pick myself mindset. Now, there is nothing wrong with picking yourself because when you pick yourself and you're picking yourself in the right frame of mind, you'll be able to pick the next person in the right frame of consciousness as well. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. But we have everything wrong with the lack of morality, the lack of decency, the lack of responsibility, and the absolute lack of commitment to family life. one might want to say, oh, there is a growing, trend of betrayal in relationship. Our parents were betrayed during their time.
True.
There is literally no married man or woman, you know, even the ones who married as virgins,
Yeah.
that has not been betrayed one way or the other in the relationship,
Mm.
whether inside the marriage or before they got married.
Yeah.
Now, if you say you are not going to get married because, the first thing that comes, the likes of Blessing CEO that is no longer trending these days, prided themselves by saying things that makes marriage looks like a prison.
Mm.
But turn around, these are the same people who pick men and they want to get married to.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, a lot of women who talk against marriage, who advocate against, young women being married, do that from a point of pain,
Okay.
from a point of betrayal, from a
Mm.
point of their horrible experiences. And when they get to find love again, they do not get back to tell the world, look, I was speaking from a point of pain and grief and loss and
Yeah.
betrayal. Now I have found love again. Forgive me for everything. I mean, let's look at the Tonto Dike scenario
Okay.
recently. When Tonto Dike left Churchill, what did she say? 2 minutes, man. It's the same 2 minutes, man, that she's going back to now that she has found God.
Mm.
She's going back to.
Now that she has found Christ. You know, I mean, let's be realistic. Yes, in the midst of all this, the new lady with Churchill seems to be the one suffering. A
Yeah.
different, wave of betrayal bring up. But why did I have to bring that story up? To clearly remind us that the reason why we are where we are today is because we have moved away from the God ordained part.
Yeah.
We've moved away from prioritizing the things that should be prioritized in the eyes of all right thinking people.
Mm.
And we have chosen for ourselves, we have created for ourselves gods. We've created for ourselves ideologies. We've created for ourselves models. We have created for ourselves patterns of thinking and lifestyle and ways to follow, contrary to the God ordained way.
Ordained way. Yeah.
As a result of that, we are where we are today. Personally, if I wanted to follow the number of betrayals I have experienced, I will not be married, Tammy.
Okay.
I have sponsored a girl through school
Mm.
and she left. So when people talk about sponsoring somebody through school and things, and then the person wakes up and leaves you, I've experienced it firsthand.
Mm.
That is something that made me in 2019 decide I wanted to go and get what was that word again? It's eluding me. I wanted to go castrate myself in the
Okay.
layman's
A
language.
vasectomy.
Vasectomy, yes, that's the word I was looking for. I wanted to go have vasectomy, but when I sat in with my doctor friend and I had she spoke to me and said, "Look, guy, you can't do this. It's just one of those phases. You're stronger than that, and you get past it."
Yeah.
And yes, I went past it. Between 2019 and when I eventually got married, I got through two more heartbreaks.
Mm.
One that caused me a lifestyle damage that took me back like 10 years of my working experience and everything I've served. But today I am seated, I am married, and I know that the future is brighter because I choose not to dwell in those experiences. Guess what? I have also broken somebody's heart.
Mm.
So if that person chooses to stay back because, oh, my boyfriend of 2014 broke my heart, betrayed me, and dated some other person, without also taking into consideration that you can bypass that, you can heal, you can get better, or possibly you had your own part to play in the breakup that happened. Because for a betrayal to happen, yes, majority, it always comes from one person,
It comes from one person. Yeah.
but you also consider there are situations that it comes from both sides.
Okay.
And there must be something you have also done or not done that you may not have paid attention to that is making the other person wants to leave. So we don't prioritize the things that needs to be prioritized. That is why we are where we are today. And that is why a lot of people are not ready to take responsibilities.
Now let me come to Vera. We've had people on social media talking about how I'm trying to remember this lady's name. it eludes me as of right now. But we've had several influencers, both male and female. You know, we have the likes of, was it Tom Lakis, who was constantly telling men, you know, he was heavily red-pilled, telling men against, you know, getting married, how, you know, focus on yourself and all of that. And men were like, you know what, yeah, who needs marriage and all of that? And the man eventually got married, you know, so it was kind of like a punch to the gut to a lot of the guys that followed him. You know, so we also have the likes of Blessing CEO, we have Cynthia G, people that, you know, push that misandric view of, oh, you know, men are trash, marriage is a prison, this, that, 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 that. At the end of the day, they get married. So, in your opinion, do you think that social media has played a part in damaging our view of marriage? Because I won't lie to you, from my personal view, sometimes when you look at, you know, these people that talk about getting cheated on, even look at the likes of, I don't know why the name Cynthia Morgan came to my head. She's not the one I'm thinking of. I've forgotten her name.
The Niger girl. I think that's
No, no, not the Nigerian one. She's not married yet. Megan Thee Stallion, Megan Thee Stallion, you know. So a lot of people online, it was trending at that point that people that say, oh, she's the perfect woman. She's this, she's that. She made several songs about him. She's always in love, blah, 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 blah. But the man cheated on her. You know, when you see all of these stories constantly, it kind of tunes your mind to make you think that, oh, since this is all I'm seeing on my FYP, this is all it has to offer. So do you think, in your personal opinion, that social media plays a part in, you know, desensitizing people on the idea of marriage and commitment? Because honestly speaking, when you look at the fact that most people, when they give their opinion on men and women, when they talk about how they don't want relationships, they'll give you examples of how if you go and compare it with another person's relationship online, they won't tell you, oh, most of these individuals, they may even have loving relationships with, you know, with their parents, and both of their parents are always in love.
Okay.
They will go out, come back and see their parents kiss each other. Mwah, how are you? How was your day?
Let me
And
add
all of
something,
that.
Tammy.
Okay?
The reason why we have, you know, the social media trend is that bad news travels faster. In fact,
I mean, yeah, bad news
the
sells.
first thing I learned that actually inspired me to go into broadcasting or journalism is when I discovered that when something horrible happens, at the snap of your finger, the whole world is aware of it.
Even in journalism class, they'll tell you that if a dog bites a man, it won't sell. But if a man bites a dog, it will sell.
And they fly faster. So we have a lot more broken people on the social media space, painting the picture of brokenness to the world. And we don't have the lots of beautiful marriages coming on to share their love stories.
Beautiful marriages are not even on social media.
Yeah.
That's the sweetest part of it, you know. I always, oh, sorry to cut you there.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I always say that, you know, self-awareness is very important. Social media is playing its role.
Yeah.
Every human being, every adult should be able to differentiate good from the bad. You cannot tell me that because I have seen a lot of people on social media have bad marriages, it automatically means that I'm going to have bad marriages. Personally, I've had bad experiences, you know, but I've never ever thought that, oh, I'm going to die alone or I'm going to be alone. You know, I've also experienced very good people in my life as much as I've experienced bad people. So it's balanced. I don't know the future, but I do know that there are good people. I do know that there are good marriages as well. It can't be all bad all the time, you know. So it's very important for us to always know what we consume from social media. Social media is doing what social media is doing. So yes, I think one of the problems with the world is that we are feeding so much of social media. We forget that social media is first information and entertainment. It's not supposed to be applicable to your life at all. Social media is its own. That's why some people who even use social media a lot and are very intentional about social media will tell you social media is not real life. If I'm sitting down here and I take 10 pictures, out of that 10 pictures, I'm going to post the perfect ones out there for you. You've not seen the one where maybe I'm scratching my face. You've not seen the one where maybe I'm repeating what I'm saying. You're not going to see that. You're going to see the perfect one out there. So social media it's like a covering. It's not the real thing at all. So one mistake anyone will make for themselves is to take what happens on social media and begin to apply it in their life and say, oh, you know, I've seen it on social media. People are going to, people don't have good marriages any longer. That's not news. That's not information. That's people putting their pain out there. There is no way you should claim people's pain. It's just like how we always say, speak positivity over your life. Then you will now see someone having something good happen to them and they say, oh, you're going to be next. It's going to be your portion. You claim that. And you see some bad things happen to people and you claim that and you want good things to come to your way. No, that's not how it works. There is power in your thought process. There is power in self-awareness. If you realize that social media is not real life, it will really be of help. And I really wish that a higher number of people would rely less on social media and live life beautifully. Beautiful marriages, I don't know who said that thing, but beautiful marriages, good marriages are not on social media because it does not need validation. You know, beautiful marriages, even when you're happy sometimes, you can just be smiling on your own and just be happy. Like, the first thought will not be to post it on social media. Your first thought will be to consume
it,
yourself
keep
in
it
that
to
happiness.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a second thought later to post it. And sometimes I'm really happy and then I love to write and I want to write about it. You know, it's never always in that moment for me to write. Yes, I'm excited in that moment. When I smile and finish, I'll be like, let me write how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, it's an afterthought because you're basking in that beauty. So beautiful marriages are not, but when you're angry, it's just like when two people are having arguments.
Yeah.
If we're arguing now, we're going to be screaming at the top of our voice because anger fuels something, you
Yeah.
know, pain fuels something. But if we are very cozy and in love, the third person, Francis, will not hear what we're saying. We're going to be talking so, like, my whisper is going to get into your ears. That is life. That is what love does. It's not loud.
Yeah.
It's very peaceful. And when you understand these basic things, you know that social media pain should not be what you should inherit as your own pain as well, or admit that, oh, because this marriage did not work, that means marriages are not good, I'm not going to have marriage. That's a very bad thing to do for yourself as a human being that has been created to be unique and stand out in the world.
The thing is, I won't even say it's only a bad thing. I'll say it's quite ignorant because I know she's watching me now. I know a friend of mine. She has a very loving family. Like,
Yeah.
I like going, you know, when a house is so in peace that just walking into the house, there's this ambient it gives. The atmosphere is just thick with love and care that just you going there, you have peace of mind. You know, she has a loving family. But if she is a keyboard warrior, when Megan Thee Stallion was cheated on, this girl was online shouting, oh, men are scum. Oh, a whole Megan Thee Stallion, a whole beautiful woman, full package woman, this one, that one, rich. She's not this one. She's not. Will you now say this one is because she's asking the man for money? Would you say this one is because she is this, she is that? I was just quietly observing her. She was like, oh, that if this thing can happen, how will she trust any man in this world? And I had to go visit her. You know, funny enough, I had to go visit her. Immediately I went to her place. Her dad was like, oh, how are you doing? How's work? All of that, you know. Mom was like, who is that? Oh, no, it's so and so. He was not like, how are you now from the kitchen? Would you want to eat anything? You can see that even from far away, they are liaising with each other. He said, eat anything. He said, I'm preparing rice. You see him make a joke. Like, and you wanted to give me eba. Why would you want to give me the rice? Now you can see them so in love with each other. It's as if they just got married. You know, and then I went to her room. I looked at her. She was like, this one you came today. What happened? I said, it's God that will judge you. Because how can you tell me you are in the room? Your parents are doing lovey-dovey in the parlor. And it's social media love that you're focusing on and saying that you will not trust relationship. What happened to the one you are seeing right here?
At home.
You know, the concept of Afghanistan, leaving what is in front of you to chase what is far away.
What is far away, yeah.
Is a reality. And then we have, you know, when I'm categorizing fanatics, or fanatism, or extremists, I also bring in social media extremists or fanatics into the picture. There are a lot of people who follow, you know, bloggers, that follow influencers, and they are fanatic in their followership. That everything, I mean, as far as they are concerned, their idol can never be wrong in whatever he or she says.
Indeed.
And whatever he or she says becomes the gospel that is treated more important and more valuable than the gospel of Jesus Christ. Or that of Islam.
That of Islam, yeah.
Everything their model or their icon or their idol speaks to, that's what they follow, that's what they believe.
Yeah.
Not even that which is right at their doorstep. In fact, inside their bedroom will matter. Because for them, this one is not my influencer.
Yeah.
They are my parents. After now, then bring me.
And then bring me. I don't sabi them since.
Yeah, so that one is what matters. You know, the concept of what comes out from outside being more beautiful and more valuable.
Yeah.
Even when you have something of more, you know, something that is more beauty worthy than even what you're going out for. Now, aside from that, I also believe that good marriages need to come out because. As much as we do not jump to social media to go and say, oh, I'm having a lovey-dovey moment with my husband, I'm doing this with my wife, I'm doing this with my girl, I'm doing this with my guy, the world has grown to a point where we have to be intentional because our children will first learn from social media before learning from the house. So, apart from what we do in the house, it is time for us to be intentional about the stories we put out. I think some point in during the lockdown, one of the projects I handled was intentionally going to couples who have been married for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You know, as long as you've been married and you're still married, having a conversation and putting that out for the people to see. And one of the most shocking thing I discovered was not that these people have not stayed for these years because they have not had misunderstandings, because they've not had moments where they were upset with each other, because they've not had, family interference and meddling or friends trying to come between them or situations coming in between them or breaking them. They've had all of those things that we are having into this world, and people will just jump, and move away. A shocking thing, Tammy, during the lockdown also, in as much as, the lockdown exposed it, but presently still, lawyers will tell you that the highest filed cases in court are divorce
cases, yeah.
People who have been married for barely 3 months, they want out. 6 months, they want out. There was a scenario I counseled. They had been dating for 9 years and they wanted divorce in just 6 months after marriage.
Then for those types of people, or for people that, may look at relationships in a weird way, what would your advice be to them as we're rounding up?
Now, the first thing is to ask yourself very realistic, life-determining questions.
Okay.
Who am I? What do I want out of life? What do I want in a relationship? What kind of man or a woman do I need? What kind of a man or a woman am I? Because when you do not know who you are,
Yeah.
and you do not know who you want to be with, you will settle for anybody. And when that person is not able to meet your standard, then breakup will definitely happen. So you ask the relevant, critical questions and you answer them intentionally, honestly. Apart from answering them, you also have to be ready to communicate consistently.
Okay.
And you also have to be willing to put in the work. We have women who want the I love you, the perfect gentleman who cooks, who sweeps, who do house chores, who provides for the family, who jokes around, and does all of that. But she is not ready to match that energy. Even when she knows the man wants this. We also have men who want certain kind of women, but are not willing to match that energy. So whatever energy you want, you have to also be willing to learn the love language. The word is love language of your partner. This is your own language. This is your own partner's love language. When your partner is giving you your own love language, you have to be willing to learn your partner's love language and also reciprocate. Because when you do not, eventually somebody's going to get tired. And at that point, when the person gets tired, guess what? It is always the good guy that gets buried. Nobody will remember that, he had been there or she had been there for 5 years, for 10 years doing the right thing. And you have been blind to the person's needs. I remember, I think it was Femi Lazarus that narrated a story of a certain man who they've been married for 10 years. And then the wife came for counseling that the husband, beat her up.
Oh, I think I know the story that it was when they called in the husband that
They
he now
discovered she's been beating the husband.
beating him for years.
So you can imagine, because the man tells you, I made a vow to myself and my God never to raise my hand on a woman.
You take advantage.
And then you take advantage of that. Every small misunderstanding, and the man keeps.
And I think he said it was when he realized that was when his
child
told the teacher that my mommy beats my daddy, and that's when he decided that look, enough is enough. So now, what would your advice be, Vera, to the current generation of that think that relationships are not worth it and marriage is basically a scam?
I know that Francis and I don't agree on a lot of things on this table, but I honestly, agree with him 100% on what he just said. Fully. I believe that everyone needs to know themselves. You need to know what you want, and it's not something that takes so much. It just takes determination. You tell yourself that, you know what, I don't like the way things are going for me. I want to discover who I am.
Yeah.
It's come from decision making, and I also wish that a whole lot of us, we also learn from the good things of social media. For example, whatever it is that Francis has said this morning about knowing yourself, I hear it a lot too on social media. Why don't people actually follow that path? Why do people always want to follow the path of the bad news? If you have more people who actually learn, who actually put this practice into their real lives,
Yeah.
it will make the world will get better. It might not be at the best place, but it will get
It'll be
better.
better.
They say that the reason the world is bad is because good people don't do anything. Good people don't say anything. Only the bad people are the ones that rule the world.
Yeah.
If we have more people who are intentional, more people who are doing good, then the world will become a better place. It is important that as you're trying to build a family, you choose the kind of person that you want. You know very well that in bad and in good times, because honestly, are going to be bad and good times. That the person is going to be kind throughout. The person has the fear of God, or you both believe in the same kind of things. In all honesty, I'm going to use someone like he mentioned something about being together for 10 years and getting divorced under 6 months. Alex Okubo, for example, is so rest in peace. He was in a relationship with Fancy for 5 years, and immediately they came on social media to announce that they were getting married in November. The plans crashed.
Exactly.
They went, their breakup was public. For people that have been together for 5 good years, what happened? So it comes to a point where you tell yourself, you give your partner grace as well. You choose the right components, should I say, or features in a partner. Not he must be dark, tall and handsome. Not he must have full front and back. Choose the right things that are going to last in marriage. Let's be very intentional about partnership, honestly, because at the end of the day, it is where creation happens. Like the next generation of whatever it is that we're creating starts from that family. So you have to ask yourself, what do I want out of my children? What do I want to create, bring into this world? If I die, what do I want my children to stand for? What do I want them to represent? You need to ask yourself those questions, and you need to move in that direction. So I completely agree with Francis on that. Let's do better as a person, as people, as a person, as an individual, as people. Let's do better.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will round up echoing the word of our Creator. It is not good for man to be alone. And for this reason shall a man leave his father and his mother to cling to his wife. If God saw it fit, if it was deemed good that man should be alone and, you do not need any other person, you should in fact be an island, I believe the concept of marriage would not exist in the first place. It's not a must to get married. You don't need to be pressured into getting married. But you should also know that your wedding and your marriage, they're two completely different things.
Yeah.
Do not look at the high of wedding and disregard the tides of marriage. Keep those things into consideration. Know yourself, know your partner, and that is the only way you can have a stable relationship and bring into the world beautiful children that will impact the world in one way or the other. I am Emmanuel Taminor Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. Coming up next is Travel and Tours. Do not go anywhere.